The number one high school sports network in the nation.
NCRA Sports Network.
Hey, my name's Dean Paul. I'm the head football coach at Ohio Northern University. We are a Division III school located in West Central Ohio. We are a school that, first and foremost, we're looking for some young men that are academically qualified. For a school like ours, we're looking for a young man with probably a 19 ACT or a 920 or 930 SAT. We're looking for a young man who's motivated, who has passion to play college football. We're looking for guys that love the game. We're also looking for guys that are driven to be successful on the field, off the field, in their personal lives and in society. Guys that want to be the best. Those are the kind of guys we're looking for. We're also looking for guys that are physically and mentally tough. No matter what position you play, we're looking at those guys that have that toughness. And we're also looking for guys that I think will embrace the challenges. A school like ours will be challenging academically. We play in a great conference. We have some good players on our team. So we need guys that will embrace the challenges on the field with great competition that we play within our university as well as the other teams in our conference, as well as guys that will embrace the challenges of a school that's challenging in the classroom. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're looking for. It does start with the academics because we will have guys that have to have the type of grades to be successful at a school like ours. So probably a minimum of a 2.7 and probably closer to 3.0 with that 19 or higher ACT. Depends a little bit what major sometimes though. If you want to be an engineer or you want to be maybe in the business or those GPA or ACTs will be a little higher. Pharmacy, we have a pharmacy program which is very unique. You probably need at least a 26 ACT for something like pharmacy. So that's a little bit about, I guess, some of the different requirements we're looking for. Athletic-wise, I think one of the big things with football at a school like ours is it's a very competitive conference, and we probably need guys that really have just slipped through the cracks. One of the things we always are looking for, the guys that maybe should have a scholarship, but somehow, some way, kind of slipped through the cracks. And we need guys that can play scholarship football that maybe it just didn't work out, that they did not get a scholarship, or they just decided that some schools were more about football just as the emphasis, and if they want to find a place that has great balance of football and the academic opportunities, a place like ours is a great fit for them. Had two guys that play in the NFL, one right now, another one that retired 2 years ago. So we have some, I guess gives an idea the type of caliber. We have had some great players. I think in recruiting, it gets confusing, it gets just overwhelming. There's a lot of information to let sink in. And I think there are some things that separate and maybe distinguish our school. First would be the academic programs. We have over 70 majors. We're a little bit bigger small school with about 3,800 students. With a little bit bigger small school, I think there's some really unique opportunities. First one would be with social life and just the atmosphere. You have almost 4,000 students on campus. You still have the advantage of a small school with small classes, get to know your teachers, but then at the same time, there's just more going on campus. There's more of a vibrant, active atmosphere on campus, and that can really, I think, create a good situation for a student where there's a bigger crowd on Saturday, more to do from a social life standpoint, and just an overall atmosphere of that vibrant kind of a feel to the campus. But academically, with over 70 majors, that really separates us from a lot of schools. Most small schools will have 35 or 40 majors. So we have the academic offerings of a big school, but then the advantage of a small school. I think another thing that separates us would be the campus. It's a little more spread out than a lot of small schools. The facilities are phenomenal. I would encourage any student to look on our website, onu.edu, and they will see a campus that is pretty special, of a great balance of older buildings that have been redone, and then a lot of new building projects. And those facilities also would include our football facilities. Our football stadium's only 9 years old. It's really on par with a lot of Division II and Division I AA type programs. It's really first class. I think the last thing that would separate us, I think, would be the football program. We've been nationally ranked 8 of the last 9 years, and there's not a lot of programs, I think, that have been that consistent over an extended period of time. Anybody can have a good year or two, but to do it over basically a decade, I think, says a lot about our program. So if someone's looking for great academics, a beautiful campus with outstanding facilities, and also a very consistent football program, I think we're a place that meets all of those needs, which is hard to find all three. We think a lot of people have 1 or 2 of those, but maybe not to have all 3 of those kind of characteristics. So those are some things I think that separate us. Some advice given to a young man who's going through the recruiting process. I think doing some homework to determine what you're looking for, because I think the college search process is all about a good fit. What is the best fit? I think it needs to be mutual. What is the university looking for? What's the college looking for? What is the family looking for? If there's a good match with what you want, and then what the university wants, then you could find a great match. So one of the things you need to do is do a lot of research. I tell guys, the more you look, the more you have a feel for what you need. Because I think a well-informed decision is the best decision. I think one of the mistakes sometimes people make is they just lock into one school early, and then maybe they don't really know what's out there. And I think that can be a mistake. So I think doing as much research as possible to find out and gather as much information helps you make a good, well-informed decision. So that'd be one piece of advice I would give. I would also encourage people not to get caught up in what division a school is. There are first-class places out there that are not Division I. We always like to tell our guys, you don't have to be Division I to be first class. So whether it's our school or others, there's some really top-notch places out there that are not Division I. So I would just encourage a family to not get hung up on what division a school is. Do the research, find a good fit academically first, find a good fit socially and with the campus environment, and then also a good fit with football. I don't think if it's all about football, I think somebody can make a bad decision. So I think gathering information is the way you make the best decision. I think at the same time, when you're going through the process, one thing I would encourage a young man to do is, if you're not interested in the school, let the coaches know. They'll move on. It's not the end of the world for them. They certainly want to recruit you, otherwise they wouldn't call you or email you. But if you're not interested, just have the respect to call the coach or email the coach or text the coach and just tell them why you're not interested. And I think coaches will, 99% of them will respect that and react to that very well. So I think that's one thing that can help everybody involved. Working hard to get the best GPA and best ACT possible can help you to get the most money possible. So I think that can help you with your future. So work hard. Take the ACT a few times. Take the SAT a couple times. Even if you have already qualified for the clearinghouse, take it again. Why not? It costs $15 or $20 to take it, so you might as well take it again and bump your score. That could help you with academic scholarships. If you're going to play college football, one thing that's important is you have passion for the game. It needs to be important to you. It shouldn't be the most important thing to you, but it needs to be important. You need to have passion for it because everything is elevated. Their players a little faster, and the coaches expect you to work hard, and there's some good players on your team. So to be successful, you have to have passion. And that's a very important attribute that you need to possess to be the best player you can be and be successful and just reach your potential.
Coach Roosevelt Williams, Seton Hill University, Division II school out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania, around 20 miles outside Pittsburgh. We're a liberal arts school, Catholic school. 30% of our students are Catholic, the rest 70% is from different orientation. What I look for in a student athlete, first of all, I look for grades. See, kids run into the problem where they try to wait until their senior year to try to get their grades, but you got to start as your freshman year, making sure all your core, your English, your math, your sciences, make sure all those things are getting taken care of. Make sure you're making good grades in those classes. Also studying for that SAT early, your 9th grade year, your 10th grade year. So when it comes your senior year, you're already ready. You're not struggling trying to retake the test, trying to get qualified to go to a school. So make sure as a freshman, sophomore, junior that you're really hitting your books hard, really getting those core classes, those English classes, studying for the SAT. So when it's time for you to sign with a school, you're not ineligible. You're qualified. Also, what I look for a high character kid. Kids make a mistake by thinking that, they're good enough so they can have an attitude problem. College coaches don't care nothing about your athletic ability, because we got so many scholarships that we can get to another kid that's probably not better than you, but he's a good character kid. So make sure you're just walking the right path, man. Staying around the right crowd, and getting around your coaches and asking your coaches how to interview with these coaches. So when the coach do ask you questions, you know what to say. And finally, it's all about education, man. It's all about getting into school. So whether it's Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, it's all about getting the education, because I had Division I hopes of coming out of school. It didn't work for me. I went to Division II school, but hey, look, I got a great education, and I'm a retired NFLer. So if you can play, they'll find you. And again, I'm Coach Williams from Seton Hill University, and get your grades, man.
My name's Chandler Tygard. I'm the defensive line coach and video coordinator at University of the Cumberlands. We're up in Williamsburg, Kentucky. It's an hour north of Knoxville, Tennessee, the first exit when you cross the state line into Kentucky. We're NAIA football program. We went 10-2 last year. We were the number 7 team in the nation. We're probably a top 10 small college program in the country up there in Kentucky. But we're looking for, just some good players that are probably some Division I athletes that might get overlooked for whatever reason, have a little chip on their shoulder, but also have good grades and good character. And we kind of build our team with those guys, and we're able to, get a good team of guys that, have a little chip on their shoulder, that are hungry to play football. Some of them were overlooked because they're 2 inches too small. They run a 0.1 too slow, or all these other different reasons, but they're good football players. And so we're down here, scouring the country trying to find them. And, using services like this helps a lot. Academically, though, you got to have good grades to be able to play. For us, you have to have at least a 2.0, an 18 on the ACT, an 860 SAT, or be top half in your class. So you got to have 2 out of those 4 things. So that's what we're looking for, to be eligible, good players, and some guys that are good character off the field as well. It's kind of how we build the majority of our team.
My name is Shane Rogers. I'm from Husson University. I coach linebackers there. Our requirements are a 2.0 GPA, 800 SAT, about an 18 ACT, and basically we're just looking for some kids that love to play the game of football and possibly do it, have fun doing it, and also get an education at the same time, because that's the most important thing. What we try to do is promote family, and that's what we look for. We're looking for some character kids that's going to come in the program and be a part of our family, and and get a degree and go back home and take care of your family. That's what we're all about. So if you want to do that, please contact me at Husson University.
A lot of guys you've been covering for years, their expectations, were they all met?
Well, that's why we have an event like this. Sometimes, to be honest with you, they're not always met until, even now. These kids who thought they played Division I, they had last year at this time, the class of 2013 was going through that, we're going to play Division I, and then your expectations lower and lower. So to answer your question, probably in a direct way, until they get that scholarship, it's not really met.
Signing day is the beginning of the process. It's not the end of the process.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point you make. And well, the whole thing is so much has been made. Everybody wants to sign on National Signing Day, puts a pressure on the kids. And those kids who are really maybe have grade issues or other issues that they feel left out. And that shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be like that. But I think as a society we made that way. The whole recruiting process when I first started, it was never even close to what what it was now. I mean, there was no computers, there was no cell phones, so you do your own math. I mean, I drove up to Gainesville one time just to see if a recruit was going to come sign. But back then, you used to have these letter of intent days where you'd sign a letter of intent with the university, like a state school. So if you would sign that would forbid you to play anywhere in the state, but you could play outside the state. So they changed that. But I mean, like if you committed to Miami or signed with Miami, couldn't play at Florida or Florida State. But I think there's so much pressure on the kids, you know, right now. I mean, because they get to the point where they want to be in the spotlight, but I don't think they're ready for it sometimes.
How many years
42
now?
years.
42
my 42nd
years. He may have covered me. You know, I don't know. I know
I covered a lot of people, yeah.
Guys, and I come from that era. How in the world do you have the time in the day to get as many kids? Because you blow me away.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about kids that Larry, like I said, Larry Bluestein recruiting, all the blocks he runs. You talk about the kids. How do you find the time in the day to do this, Larry?
Well, you know, it's funny. It's basically my side job. I operate a regular newspaper, and I've done that for 36 years. I'm the editor, and it has nothing to do with sports, and that's where I spend most of my time. So but I go statewide. The last 2 years I've flown to Mobile, Alabama, rented a car, and come back through the Panhandle. Got a chance to stop this last year at right over the border in a place called Northview, and the offensive line coach at Northview used to play at University of Miami, Ty Wise, who was a center. His team later went to the state this year and they won. And it's just, and I do that, and I promote kids, and it's all about the kids. To me, I mean, the more and more people who do things like yourself and like everybody else, it's just like more of a relief for me, because we're all doing this for one thing. We're doing this to promote the kids, and that's what you guys are about. That's what events like this are about. That we're still over almost a month away from past signing day, and we're still have that zest. You see every high school coach, a little small college coach. The kids who will be here today or tomorrow are the kids that want to play, and that's how recruiting has changed. But thank goodness for the coaches, and thank goodness for yourself that you guys helped me out a great. When I first started in this state, there was really nobody. Bill Buckhalter had come a little bit later. He came 3 years later. The only one that I ever remember that even did recruiting nationally was a guy out of West Virginia, Wheeling, West Virginia, and that was it. And then Max Emfinger came, and then Tom Lemon came. I never heard of those guys before. So, but you know what? Thank goodness for everybody that what they're doing is getting the word out, and that's what I do. And what we do, and we have a great chance to do, is get almost 100 new names statewide out every week. We have 2,500 names for 14, 15, and 16 out. That way we've watched every kid, little vignettes of every kid that they send us, video, either YouTube or Huddle, and we watch them, and whatever source that they give videos through, and we put them up and we get them out there, and then we promote them on our South Florida High School Sports website. We uncover more kids because every week we give you another 15, and before you know it, it's December and we've put out 300 new kids.
Yeah.
Where else can you do that?
Well, and we love it because it's a great reference pool for us. And folks, if you don't know Larry Bluestein, I know you know him. A lot of people from around the nation that watch the NCRA Sports Network. This is Larry Bluestein. He is all about the kids, and a legend in South Florida, all over the state of Florida, putting in countless hours. And Larry, I want to thank you for coming and talking to us here at the Bcaa
Thank
Small
you.
College Fair.
Anytime.